Hey, Crown Publishing content followers, viewers, and supporters. Thank you for clicking on my video again tonight to see what it is I have to say. If you're new to my channel, welcome 1,000 times. I'm Arthur, podcaster, Miss Sherry Whitney. This is the Crown Publishing Content YouTube channel where publishing and marketing content finally meet. Y'all, hold on. I thought my microphone was in this whole time. Boom. So I'm back like I never left. But I was saying, welcome to the channel if you're new. Welcome. This is the hub where publishing and marketing content finally meet because we do live discussion topics just like these, but we also do our other special segments for business and book lovers. And we're going to continue in that direction in the year of 2024 when it comes to the YouTube channel family. With the Crown Publishing Content YouTube channel family and our mission moving forward. Hit that like button to show your support. It's absolutely free. Subscribe so that you can be notified for future live streams just like these, interviews with authors and entrepreneurs just like you, and other informational segments that you might enjoy. Okay, you can also share our videos anytime. Share our videos with a friend. We actually encourage you to, and we do appreciate the support thus far. So apparently, there's another trending topic circulating, and we are here to talk about it tonight. I'm going to give my live reaction and opinion. Everything I state tonight is just my opinions, perceptions, and views. Um, we don't come here to offend anybody or make anybody, you know, just give our reaction, right? Especially from on a lot of these topics from a millennial's point of view, right? Because so much is just changing at this in this era of history at this time. So much is changing around us, and that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about tonight. Thank you for your support, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Also, feel free to join in on the chat. The link to become a guest on the live tonight or whatever, and chop it up with me, Arthur Podcaster Tedder Sherry. You can you know what I'm saying, copy and paste that link into your browser or something like that, guys. It's right here in the comment section of the live. I'll also, as I usually do, leave an article because I know a lot of us use different resources for information, but I like to post, at least one article about it, to kind of inspire, spark the interest of others when it comes to certain topics. So it's fun. It's just fun to me to do. It's interesting. You can never go wrong researching, okay? But the researchers, and that's the thing about life, there's researchers in all different areas and aspects of life, right? There's like survey studiers and just all type of researchers, history studiers, and you name it. And then researchers we're talking about tonight are really, really, really right, just having a reaction because a law has been passed that has never been passed before in this manner in the state of Alabama pertaining to infertility treatments. I believe the proper term is IVR treatments. This is where you're pretty much, going through an implantation pregnancy type process. And I'm just wording things in my way, or I feel like in a way that anybody can understand. Oftentimes, a woman or there's so much going on today. But oftentimes, an individual would go through this process if they're either enabled to just kind of carry kids, because some people they do have the capacity to like get pregnant. They're fertile in that way, but they just can't hold the baby. So there's many different like medical reasons why a woman might not be able to just, it's not always that they can't get pregnant or that they're barren. Maybe you had some damage, you could have had an injury that prevents you from, naturally conceiving. So this is a route some couples take or individuals take, because we know something like this, I would say, is similar to, but it's totally different from like a surrogate type of situation, right? I think surrogates work much, much different. As I don't have to say this, the adoption process is a whole nother topic, but how they all kind of fall in the same category when we're talking about just how parenthood is sometimes birth. I'll put it in those words. Parenthood, in my opinion, is birthed through many, many different stories, many different ways, in even unexpected ways. But we know something like IVR treatments or surrogate situations or things like that, right? Freezing eggs and sperm and stuff like that. These are more planned parenthood. When we think Planned Parenthood for many, many years before now, we would just think preventing pregnancy, right? Hopefully not. I don't know. I'm just, giving my thoughts, throwing them out there about on the topic. But when in past times when we would hear Planned Parenthood, which that has a whole history to it, the very organization itself, right? It has a history and it had a mission and to kind of, and everybody's opinion is different about the real uh, intention of Planned Parenthood. When it was first introduced to the nation and stuff like that. But we got to remember, Planned Parenthood is not just controlling not getting pregnant or something like that. Birth control is birth control. Birth control to me is still IVR treatments, adoption, right? You are the one controlling. That word control is still there. When you talk about birth control, you're the one controlling how your parenthood is being birthed. That's my definition of birth control, right? Not that this topic is going. I always try to start every topic coming from a place so that people can understand where I'm coming from with my opinions, right? Because this is not so much about the birth control or anything like that. But I did want to start this segment off saying, in my opinion, in vitro fertilization uh, is also a form of birth control. Because birth control is not just preventing yourself getting pregnant. Maybe it's you controlling, you know what I'm saying, actually getting pregnant. There's women out here every day that want that. They don't want to they don't want to adopt a kid. They don't want to, or maybe they can't afford a surrogate, right? So what do? They might take this route, right? They want, and there's so many different, way they might just, I hope I'm saying what I'm trying to say right, but there's different ways to control the birth of the parenthood journey. Okay, the birth of how you become a mother or father. Anybody can understand that, but a more technical definition of IVR treatment or in vitro fertilization is a common form of fertility care. Okay, I more described it as birth control, but okay, fertility care. Okay, in a form of it. So keep that in mind. There was a ruling in out of Alabama Supreme Court, January 16, 2024, but today's date marks February 23rd, officially 2024. So this wasn't that long ago. But what happened is there was a ruling in the Alabama Supreme Court that embryos are to be considered children. We're gonna just let that marinate for a second. And even if we're not residents of the state of Alabama and or whatever, man, we none of us can deny this is like history making stuff that is happening right before our eyes or whatever. Like, wow. These are things that advocates might have said for a long tester time, protesters and people in the parenthood communities, but now we're seeing more laws being passed because we were going to talk about how that's just the state of Alabama and what happened February 16th. But there's at least 11 more states that have like extended laws when it comes to personhood rights, babies and abortions and their rights. Some have always said they believe from the time of egg, even as the eggs, their precious lives, right? And these are just people's opinions before laws. And then laws, when laws get involved, we're really looking at the opinions or whatever. But because that's just what happened. People have reactions and opinions to laws. And then you see, for example, the Roe versus Wade uh, ruling was not that long ago as well. So, in my opinion, there's definitely more. At least you could say it looks like we're moving more in a direction, when it comes to just people standing up with what they're for and not for, and what's been going on in general. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the planning of parenthood, and like I said, in my definition, that's whether it's unplanned or planned. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's unplanned, we all know that can happen. But when it's planned, why do we only think birth control? Like, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to get pregnant. We should also, in my opinion, include, you know what I'm saying, the fact that people do try to get pregnant too, right? You got male couples and different things, and I'm not trying to be funny, but different natural reasons why they would want to choose this route. So I would still consider that birth control. And whether I would consider it responsible or not is a whole nother topic because of the way that these babies are formed. So obviously the courts look at this too. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing IVR treatments, you know what I'm saying? Everything the parties are going through this process. Now that's just the parties when we first talk about it. You know what I'm saying? The willing participants in the frozen egg and sperm processes and things like this. What a lot of people would call modern medicine today, right? Modern medicine options. And we see this in many different avenues when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, health and medicine. Just more modern approaches, you know what I'm saying, to things we've been trying to figure out for years. And I'm here for it. Crown Publishing Content is here for it because some of this stuff is like history marking in my eyes. Even if like people are already the topic is already trending that this may too eventually be overturned like the Ray versus Wade ruling was, but only time will tell, right? We're already seeing that, and we're gonna get into that. You know what I'm saying? These updates and what's currently happening and how fast it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Right after this ruling, how clinics have been willingly, and it's I wouldn't say for the long run. Like I see what the media is telling us. You know what I'm saying? Clinics are starting to IVR clinics, even if it's temporary, they've chosen to go ahead and close down at this time because of some of the, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to call them injunctions, but some of the things that are included in this ruling, okay? And okay, of course, that's going to spark people's interest because maybe what they're doing is they have to come back together and say, okay, now that this ruling has took place, how can we make sure that our research is safe? So I don't know. This is my healthy way of looking at and my reaction to hearing news about this new Alabama personhood protection law. That's really not the technical name. actually. That's what I call it, but the technical name is wrongful death of a minor act, okay? Like, this is like serious stuff here. If you have embryo clinics just shutting down, even if it's temporarily, it's just something that I mean, outside of reasons for like the pandemic or something, we the state of Alabama is admitting they've really never seen before, and then really none of us have, right? Of course, in trending comments all across social media platforms, people, you'll probably see when you look off into this, most people's reactions and comments, um most of them that support this new law anyway, or these new updates to this act, are pro abortionists, so we can understand why. I think when it comes to IVR treatments and people's opinions of this new ruling, where people get touchy feely and opinionated at is whether IVR fertility practices were even, I guess, quote unquote, safe for children to begin with, because Alabama at this time is going ahead and choosing to consider um, unborn fetuses, you know what I'm saying, at the stage of embryo level. So this would be technically a fertilized egg. Once that egg is fertilized, you know what I'm saying? They're saying that, the law at that time is willing to take matters in its own hands when it comes to how this embryo is being handled. I guess handled, just covers it all, how it's being handled. When you get to researching how these treatments might look, how many times a woman or might go through this process before a egg even makes it to embryo um, level, is really, really, I don't want to say alarming, but interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because statistics actually prove, because I learned a lot too, just looking more into this. I think they said only 10% of eggs are even like expected to eventually, uh, well, first of all, yeah, be fertilized. And then secondly, that's the statistic about the eggs being fertilized part. But the next interesting part is once the eggs are fertilized and the implantation processes happen, the fertilized eggs are implanted inside of the uterus, or however they do it. This is what this ruling is talking about: the handling of the embryo from that point forward, because at that point the state of Alabama has made it clear that they are looking at that point as a child, as a life, as a minor, an embryo. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button to show your support. And I mean, first I have to, explain this part and what's going on, and then I can get my reaction or my opinions, as I go along with this. But thank you guys for tuning in live with us on tonight. The state of Alabama's opinion is that an unborn child or children should be entitled to the same legal protections as any other minor. Okay? So it's no wonder that it's mostly pro abortionists, to begin with, who totally, you know what I'm saying, are just in support of this new updated law when it comes to wrongful death of a minor act. So it's a crazy way, even if you had never researched this before, to learn that, yes, you know what I'm saying, sometimes a lot of actual embryos are lost. So, because like we said, once they're fertilized, they're embryos. They're growing. They have the potential to grow a full term in a womb, or in a uterus. You know, and live the rest of their life as a baby, and so forth. But the thing here is that when they do these implantations, not every embryo makes it through that process, right? It's just an interesting insight. But I mean, these are just the facts. In real life, when you naturally try to conceive, it's not promised that every time you try, you're going. You see what I'm saying? You almost want to say that the baby's going to stick, but it seems like an inhumane way to say it. So, but that's really what's happening there. They're trying to get, you know what I'm saying, the embryo to actually grow in the uterus or womb it was implanted in. The fact is, and research has proven that it just doesn't do this every time, right? So, it's just interesting. We didn't get into the specs like how many times a woman is allowed to even attempt this legally without like hurting herself and things like that, because I'm sure the size of the IVR process, implantation process, and stuff like this too. And it's just a really interesting topic. Not just because I'm a woman, but even as a woman, it's nothing that I can't say I ever considered doing for another, right? Or having a baby conceived this way. You know what I'm saying? For my quote unquote self. And is that really what we're doing when we conceive them this way, having them for ourselves? I mean, because some argue this is like just not, it's never been a natural way to bring a child into the world. And now you got the law starting to step up in one state saying, hey, we also are declaring, we are with that movement. We agree, we are down to say, yeah, once it's an embryo, whether it is successfully implanted or not, we can penalize you civilly, criminally for the way this embryo is handled. I'm telling y'all, this is like interesting. They say a baby at the earliest stage, pretty much. This is an embryo. It's a baby at the earliest stage of development, okay? Or a multicellular organism. February 16th, once again, for those that might be just now tuning in or trying to catch up on what I'm talking about. February 16th, 2024, the state of Alabama went ahead and ruled in the favor of embryos. I know it seems like a crazy way to say it, but and this is just another reproductive health and medicine topic for us all tonight. We learn from each other. We all learn every day and keep each other aware, of updates like these, especially if we're women, because it does affect us now and in the future. Whether this ruling remains or is overturned eventually, only time will tell, like we said at the beginning of the stream. Factors for sure like age and you know what I'm saying, the patient's medical history definitely play a part into the factor of whether a uh, implantation process would successfully, go right. It's very, very rare, like the first two times or three times, you know what I'm saying, the embryo is implanted in a natural womb, that it just survives. That's what we're really looking at here. So is it really fair to even do that treatment knowing there's a risk that the embryo might not survive? And this has, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm saying, this processes have been legal in the state of Alabama, just like they have been other places, right? IVR treatments, right? In vitro fertilization, kind of like, controlled parenthood. Like I say, like, how do you? I've been calling it that. It's a form of parenthood, in my opinion. Leave your opinions in the comments. And I even once again haven't even dived in with giving my like personal reaction or opinions to just kind of more stating the facts and what's what for sure. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what our opinions are, the facts matter. So they pretty much ruled in the favor and just of the wrongful death of a minor act. Just more, and I felt like this time was coming. This time was needed anyway. These type of things, right? Because I feel like if you just keep outdated anything, you keep an outdated system to something that's more modernized, it's just not. It's gonna wreak havoc at some point. Like it's just sounds damaging. You know what I'm saying? To keep a old system the same way, and expect new results. Okay, so it's not a new trending topic when you talk about infertility treatments to begin with. But that's a whole nother research and study in itself for anybody interested in it. You know what I'm saying? When it was first introduced, and there's even families out there that have, become parents this way. So, if you do have that experience anywhere out there across the world, we love to hear from you. Leave your comments, maybe a snippet of your story, how it went for you, how many times you had to go through the process before you successfully were impregnated through the IVR treatment process. We'd love to hear from you at Crown Publishing Content, or if you're willing to share your story or something sometime, email us sometime at crowncontentpublications at AOL.com. We love to hear from you for sure. Um, so, in a nutshell, Alabama has said in its February 16 ruling that an embryo equals a fertilized egg, and a fertilized egg, in their eyes, is definitely, a life. So, they say it's just the earliest stages of life, and now they want to put things in place to protect even those in the earliest stages of life. And I must just go ahead and say it. And with my reaction, in my opinion, I think it's a great move. Now, did I say that whatever might, you know what I'm saying? I can't say it's going to be good for everybody. I just think overall that is a good move, because to say that now, you know what I'm saying, persons or clinics can be penalized for how embryos are handled is a big history marking thing. And then you got other news reports already saying that clinics across Alabama so far, just in the first 48 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours of this ruling, have already begun. I don't want to use the term shutting down, because that's very, like, in the world of business, that's even normal. If a business got to take some time off, I would look at it that way. Because now the community of infertility, it's understandable, in my opinion. Yeah, y'all would have to shut down, deliberate, get with the board of directors and medical doctors and everybody to see what, because they are more in fear of, you know pretty much being penalized for how things have been going so far, right? Let's say before this ruling, they had women that were had appointments. That's what that means. If it means clinic shutdowns, they had appointments scheduled to go ahead and either be, examined to see if they would be a good fit for the treatment. I'm sure there's processes for that, or they had appointments set to have the treatments done. And that just means if a clinic just shut down on you like that, yeah, they couldn't go to those clinics to get that done. It probably gave those parents that were interested in becoming parents that way a lot to think about if they were patients at any of these clinics that shut down. So interestingly enough, 11 other states have pretty much embryo personhood laws in place, if you want to call them that, in which penalties can be extended for pregnant women uh, accused against child neglect or endangerment, right? So this is just what had been, you know what I'm saying, in place before this new ruling in February 16. So this had been that way. There were already 11 states that had went ahead and moved towards this direction, as well as far as more laws to protect unborn children. I say this is great for many, many, many reasons. Like for too long, that's just another sector of life that has, in my opinion, been like overlooked for too long. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to adding those special categories of, you know what I'm saying, stipulations and laws to protect them as well. So I wouldn't say that makes me a yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know, like, when it comes to abortion and fetuses and embryos and these topics and stuff, y'all, I think people get more or less touchy feely about it because we all can have our opinions until you're in a situation where you actually are considering the IVR treatment, or you are considering an abortion, or you are considering certain forms of, you know what I'm saying, birth control, from preventing pregnancy to actually controlling, right? Like I say, the time and the place and everything that you get pregnant. That's still Planned Parenthood, and we can't talk about Planned Parenthood without talking about the safety of growing embryos as well, right? If we're willing to create a growing embryo, even through IVR treatments, we have to be willing to support the embryo as well. And this is just my opinion in every way possible. That would mean, you know what I'm saying, to me, at the end of the day, too, full blown protecting, you know what I'm saying, the carriers of these children. So we know that that probably comes with what, you know what I'm saying, they go through with that process anyway too. I'm not just talking about OBGYN care or nothing like that, like literal care, as much care possible at the embryo stage for the embryo, considering the life of the embryo in every way as you would as a, you know what I'm saying, newborn baby, a baby fresh at the womb, a baby delivered is what I'm saying, C-section or vaginally, like a natural way. Some people get really, really offended when you call this form of birth control unnatural, but I would say any form of birth control outside of the natural way, which is either, you know what I'm saying, have sex or don't, is, you know what I'm saying, it would be risky. If you know, if regular uh, uh, conception can be risky, then and that's a natural way to conceive. If the natural way to conceive can be risky for individuals, what would make us think going a unnatural way to conceive, produce, or create life would be any different? Leave your opinions in the comments, or you know what I'm saying, give me a like if you agree. That was what I was last mentioning, is how 11 other states already have their own special, you know what I'm saying, laws in place that just are a little more stricter and down to business when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, expecting mothers, or mothers at the level, not just at the level of embryo, but expecting mothers altogether. There's just 11 states for sure that have laws incorporated, and you know what I'm saying, in place for sure to protect. And I don't think I think it helps all of us to actually know that, to actually know what states even and stuff like that. But I think it's also, you know what I'm saying, interesting for fathers involved across the globe to know as well. You know what I'm saying? I just know personally of people that have physically fought, you know what I'm saying, full blown pregnant, fought their spouse or whoever they're with. So it could be the reasoning behind it could have been anything from pregnancy mood swings to straight up domestic violence. And it's crazy. Regardless of what it is, it's not healthy. I'm sure anybody could agree. You know what I'm saying? It's just an example for a embryo to even be going through that at that phase. You feel like, oh, okay, I'm carrying, but I'm not exactly, you know what I'm saying, big yet or whatever you think because it's just an embryo and you're in the early stages. Ain't that crazy? No, just like the state of Alabama saying they're not hearing that no more. Like once that's in embryo phase, you know what I'm saying? Human beings need to take accountability and handle their responsibility. What if we are moving more towards a world where, or at least a country right now where, because we already see the back and forths with abortion laws and IVR treatment laws and stuff like this in different states, and you know what I'm saying, unborn. Because I remember doing a segment where I was saying that I was reading at the time that there could have been a possibility that unborn child support could be laid out on the table when it comes to the family law. Just things that I feel like mature adults, just as much as they indulge in the things to create, you know what I'm saying, new life, they should, you know what I'm saying, engage in knowing the updates about these things for sure. Unborn child support was supposed to look something like, you know what I'm saying, DNA tests being able to be uh, conducted and things like this, even in the stages of unborn. And if in DNA tests being able to be confirmed in those early stages, and we don't want to just say fathers, but any parent, you know what I'm saying, being acceptable to child support even while the child is unborn, it would just be a history marking and making, you know what I'm saying, change if something like that were to take place. You know what I'm saying? Because just for too long. You know what I'm saying? That's why many say, you know what I'm saying, many don't have as much of a conscious, you know what I'm saying, when they choose to go through the process of abortions, because in their heads, it's like, oh, this wasn't a life yet. I always thought that was funny too. Like, that's crazy. How could you not call even the beginning stages of life? You know, people even have a category of death, like their stages of death. They even have a category stage of death, to my understanding, called hospice. And they call it that because, you know what I'm saying, they know that you are transitioning. You're not dead per se, or something like you being on life support or a breathing machine, anything that supports you, you know what I'm saying? Because naturally you should be able to do things naturally, right? But if you get to the level of needing assistance with any of these things, or it gets direly crucial that, you know what I'm saying, you might lose your life without it type situations, that's a person more transitioning into that stage. And people are quick to say it then, like, oh yeah, such and such is dying, or such and such, you know, this or that. But when it's the beginning stages of life, right? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the same thing. If you have stages and transitions, and you'll call it hospice, and you're able to literally pinpoint when somebody's about to go, you should be able to also see when a life is on the way, right? You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what stage it is. So I would have to say I do agree with that. Uh, I agree with the fact that, you know what I'm saying, unborn children, because I'm sure across the globe, y'all, there are many miracle babies walking among us right now. What I mean by a miracle baby, right? Things, it's different if something out of your control happens to you while you're carrying an unborn child. I'm sure even the justice system can understand something like that. But this topic is more about, well, or what I'm speaking on is more about the laws that are being more included and incorporated these days, you know what I'm saying, to protect children that are unborn as well. And through all stages of pregnancy. And when in humanity, you know what I'm saying, mankind history, have we really had to look at ourselves and say, hey, is a life at this stage, at that stage, at that stage? But we can look at, you know what I'm saying, levels of death with no problem. We know when people are dead. We feel like we know when they transition and this and that. Well, we should also understand all the stages of life. We understand conception well enough to indulge in what, you know what I'm saying, conceives of a child naturally. So why are we not willing to, you know what I'm saying, dig deeper, just really as a whole humanity about, you know what I'm saying, the stages of life and why each stage would matter. Just like after you born, you have a birthday party on the first, the second, the third, all the way through. A lot of people have a birthday party every year until they leave here, okay? Because they are celebrating life. They're able to recognize the stages of their life, the milestones of their life. A mother may cherish, or somebody that carried a baby, she might cherish those moments, the whole 9 months, 10 months she carried a child, right? So we wouldn't just say, "Oh, I cherished my pregnancy the last 2 months." I've never heard a mother say that, or I cherished it more at a certain time than another time. If anything, you cherish your whole experience, right? You cherished the early stages of that child's life all the way to the time that child was here. So just thinking about these things, when we call ourselves putting our emotions into legal changes like these pertaining to life, they matter because, you know what I'm saying, we're quick to say what a person's penalty should be pertaining to death or harm or violence in any other manner. You know what I'm saying? Once a life is born, we would look at the age of the person that committed the act and everything. Once they're born, when they're unborn, why wouldn't they deserve rights? It's actually a very, very interesting time in history to learn that we might be moving this direction. Once again, like I said, in my opinion, it's been needed, and I think we're moving in a good direction. Anytime, that's my opinion, you are considering the youth before yourself, like you're supposed to. Um, as living, grown, you know what I'm saying, experienced adults, I feel like you're always moving in the right direction. You can expect great things on the other side. You can expect, you know what I'm saying, the new beginnings you were looking for and everything, because you are respecting the life of children. You're respecting the life of, you know what I'm saying, innocence life, regardless of how a baby is conceived. They did not control that, okay? And that's where these topics come back around. Can we do better in planned parenting, whether it's preventing pregnancy once again, or uh you know what I'm saying, what we're how far we're willing to go to create life too. I mean, we've heard people go the distance to end life. I'm talking about, but how far do they go when it's an unborn child? And how far are they willing to go, you know what I'm saying, to create a child? People willing to do all that. It said even stem cell research may be in jeopardy in the state of Alabama. Only time will tell if we even start to see those type of clinics as well shut down after this ruling here recently. But only time will tell. But they're saying for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? Stem cell research is kind of like a third party to many other different researches, from cancer to a lot of other stuff. And yes, IVR fertilization treatments is one of those things. So only time will tell. It just said that stem cell research may be threatened, and I don't know why then it's being reported like this, because I just feel like if they weren't handling these embryos any wrong way, or these stem cell research results and things they're doing, there would be no reason to put this in place. So What's understood doesn't have to be explained. I'm sure that for the most part, most people are accountable and full of integrity and all of that. But the question is raised again. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing with aborted fetuses and you see what I'm saying, embryos that don't make it 100% through the fertilization process? Okay, more people just wanting to see things, you know what I'm saying, justice for those babies too, right? Just because they were unwanted, how they're actually being treated as an embryo, you know what I'm saying? Are they being forced out the womb through abortion? Like, what's going on with them? Those are the questions we have to ask. What happened with their lives, right? Just like you would ask for a person after they're born, right? Of course, you get an emergency call about a 2 month old baby today. Emergency responder is going to do their best to get somebody quick, fast, and in a hurry. But when a woman is at 2 months of pregnancy, that's what this law is intended to do. You know what I'm saying? Push more integrity and accountability, in my opinion, responsibility on, you know what I'm saying, people planning their parenthood this way, through this form, you know what I'm saying, of for fertilization. Yeah, fear of this new wrongful death act against minors and charges to law just simply, in the words of clinics, jeopardize their very practices. So just a time we've never seen before. Frozen embryos as well, as embryos that end up being lost due to lack of actual implantation could expose personnel in clinics to civil charges. Just making all of that clear when it comes to what we're reporting about these updates. Out of fear and legal trouble, clinics have just began shutting down. So the last I looked into it, at least three, at least three, and that's just like that's like that's a big number. You know what I'm saying? It's just a big number for the time span of when this law changed. You see what I'm saying? I know it sounds like just three, so people are really wondering, are more clinics finna follow suit? Are even more states finna follow suit when it comes to this law? Only time will tell. It's definitely the first time any federal or state court has adopted such a broad definition to the protection of embryos and what it should look like. And I said that wrong earlier. I said pro-abortion groups were more happy about this change, but it was I meant to say anti-abortion groups, which makes more sense. They were against, you know what I'm saying, innocent lives. You know what I'm saying. Every anti-abortion was always against that, right? Innocent lives, unborn innocent lives being troubled. Adoption versus IVR treatments was just where I wanted to take this, because what is it about these treatments? Like, if we have adoption homes and foster cares full of, you know what I'm saying, children that need help already, you know what I'm saying, why do we have more people willing to, you know what I'm saying, not saying we have more people or nothing like that, but why do we still have a community that even exists that are trying to run and get IVR treatments? There's plenty of innocent children out there already that have been created naturally, needing homes, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and speak on that other topic about the mother having her 5-year-old daughter assist her with waxing women or something like that. I'm definitely, y'all stay tuned, hit that subscribe button so you're notified when I do the live about that, my reaction to that. And you know what I'm saying, what I saw when I looked more into it or whatever. But if you'd be interested in that too, hitting that like button lets me know that you support me and the content that I am trying to bring to you guys at a more frequent and rapid pace too. Okay, once again, leave your opinions in the comments of how you see these changes, you know what I'm saying, changing the world or making things worse, whatever. What are your opinions? chance of implanted embryos actually progressing through growth. You know what I'm saying? After implantation, yeah, it's as low as 10%. Just throwing some of those facts out there, giving us all something to think about. And because if one state has already gone to this level, you know what I'm saying? What's all really coming? But in my reaction and opinion, it's a good thing to see more being done for the protection of unborn babies. Thank you guys for your support. You can learn more about our mission to assist independent freelancers and entrepreneurs and authors just like you when you visit my website, crowncontent.com. Uh, that's where you can just learn more about us. If you're interested in being a contributor, donor, you know what I'm saying? Helping Crown Publishing content to grow in 2024, any small or great contribution is appreciated, and all donations will be, you know what I'm saying, used for the edification and growth of this channel for sure. And that Cash App is $ Crown Content. You can email us anytime, Crown Content Publications at AOL.com as well. Thank you for your support, guys, and until next time.